Good evening everyone. Let's discuss the paper and some questions asked in class 8th. Question 1. The multiplicative inverse of minus 1 upon 7. Let's see. First of all, it is a mixed fraction, so we have to convert it like this. The number is, it's a blue pen. The number is minus 1 upon 7. First of all, we will convert it. It becomes 7 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8 upon 7. So the number is minus 8 upon 7. We all know that multiplicative inverse of any number is that number which, if multiplied, answer should be 1. So obviously multiplicative inverse should be reverse of this same number, that is minus of 7 upon 8, because in this case only these two will cut, these two will cut, and negative and negative will become positive. Hence the answer is minus 7 upon 8 or 7 upon minus 8, same thing. So option number D is the correct answer. Then we have second question. Between two given rational numbers we can find. First is saying only one and only one rational number, wrong. Then we have only two rational numbers, again wrong. 10 rational numbers, wrong. Infinitely many rational numbers is correct. Why? Let's see. Suppose you have two numbers. Suppose you have 1 upon 1 and 2 upon 1. We have learned we can increase the range by multiplying with some numbers like 10 upon 10. So what happens? It becomes equivalent fraction 10 upon 10. It becomes 20 upon 10. Now we have 11 upon 10 between them, 12 upon 10, 13 upon 10, 14 upon 10, and so on. What if I multiplied, instead of 10, I multiply with 100? Now we have around 90 plus numbers between these numbers. Similarly, I can multiply with 1000, I can multiply with lakhs, I can multiply with 10 lakhs. So we can see between two numbers on the number line 1 and 2, we can have a infinite number of rational numbers between. Okay, so the answer is infinitely many rational numbers. Okay, yes, between two integers there is no integer. Suppose I have 1 and 2. Someone asks how many integers between 1 and 2? There are 0 integers. But how many rational numbers? Rational numbers are infinite, because 1.1 is also between them, 1.111 is also between them, 1.111111, and so on. All these numbers are between 1 and 2 only. Hence we say there are infinite number of rational numbers between given two numbers. Now what we have, next question is straight true or false 5 by 6 lies between 2 by 3 and 1. So first of all, the numbers given to us are 2 by 3 and 1. Let's write 1 as 1 upon 1. Now we have to check whether 5 by 6 lies between them or not. In that case, what if we make their denominator 6? That will make it easy. So let's make the denominator 6 by multiplying this 2 upon 2 and this side 6 upon 6. This becomes 4 upon 6 and this becomes 6 upon 6. Obviously, these are the equivalent fractions. If you go to the next term, that will be 5 by 6 only, which is asked in the question. So we can confirm, yes, 5 by 6 lies between the given numbers. One more way is there. You can find the decimal values of these numbers and then you can find. Okay, but this one is the easier one. Now next question is saying the solution of equation 3x minus 4 is equal to 1 minus 2x. Find the value of x. Or let's do, so we all know we have to bring together all the like terms together. So we have 3x and 2x like terms. So let's bring 2x to the left hand side. There it is in negative, here it will become positive. Similarly, this 4 and 1 are like terms. Let's bring them together. So 1 is already on the right hand side. We will take minus 4 to the right side. It becomes plus 4. So answer is 5x is equal to 5, and hence x is equal to 5 upon 5, that is 1. So answer is plus 1. Okay. Now convert the statement adding 15 to 4 times x is 39 into equation. Very simple. This 4 times x means 4x. What we are doing? We are adding 15 is this, and the answer is 39. So 4x plus 15 equal to 39 is the correct answer, or you can write 15 plus 4x is equal to 39. We can write because addition is commutative, so no issue. Correct answer is this one. Now next question is, if diagonals of a quadrilateral bisect each other at right angles, it will be. Very simple. We have seen in the case of rhombus, diagonals bisect each other at right angle, so correct answer is rhombus. Okay. Now, which of the following is a property of parallelogram? Opposite sides are parallel. So we have seen, suppose we have a parallelogram A, B, C and D. We can say opposite sides are parallel because AB is parallel to DC in a parallelogram and AD is parallel to BC. So this thing is correct. So this one is correct. Second is saying diagonals bisect each other at right angle. No, we have not studied this property in parallelograms. The diagonals are perpendicular to each other. No. So the correct answer is A only. Rukmini has a farmland in the form of triangle. So this is suppose her farmland. What they are asking is, what is sum of all exterior angles? Very simple, we have done exterior angle sum of any figure you take. Whatever figure you take, that will always be how much? 360. Whenever you take, it will always be 360. How? Let's check. Suppose it is a equilateral triangle. So then in that case it is 60, 60, 60. So this 60, this becomes 120 by linear pair, 120 by linear pair, 120 by linear pair. So we have three external angles and we add them, we get the answer as 360. It is also a property that any polygon whatsoever it is, the sum of exterior angle will always be 360 degree. So the correct answer is C. Next question is, find t. So we have the equation 5t minus 3 is equal to 3t minus 5. So again bring together like terms. 5t minus 3t is equal to minus 5 plus 3. So 5t minus 3t is 2t is equal to minus 2. So t is equal to minus 1. So correct answer is minus 1. All squares are not parallelograms. This is wrong because we have studied parallelogram is the like parent figure for a square. So there are three special parallelograms: square, rectangle and rhombus. So we can say all squares are parallelograms, but the reverse is not true. Okay, because all the properties of parallelogram is used by square also. So we can say all squares are parallelograms. Okay, reverse is not true. Okay, so this is false. Now by observing the number line, state which of the following is not true. So we can observe this number line over here. See, it is saying A part B is greater than minus 10. We all know in the number line, left side, when you go from left to right, the numbers are increasing. Okay, so let's start. B is greater than minus 10. We have minus 10 over here and B over here. Obviously B is coming on the right of minus 10, so it is greater. This statement is correct. A is greater than 0. Again 0 is over here. A is coming to the right side, so A is larger. Again this is correct. B is greater than A. This is wrong. Why? Let's see. B is coming to the left of A. So A should be greater than B, not B. Okay. So this statement is wrong. Last is B is smaller than 0. Yes, it is smaller than 0 because it is on the left side. So the correct answer is option number C. Now, the number of sides of a regular polygon where each exterior angle is 45 degree. We have seen the formula. Number of sides into measure of each exterior angle is equal to how much? 360 degree, because I have told you in the last question also, in that triangle question, that sum of exterior angle is fixed for any polygon, that is 360, and the formula is number of sides, that is n, into measure of each exterior angle in the case of regular polygon equal to 360. This formula is based for regular polygon only. Okay. So in this case we have to find the number of sides. We know the value of EA. EA is how much? 45 in this question is equal to 360. That means n is equal to 360 upon 45. We can see 9 can divide both the numbers. So 9 5s are 45, 9 4s are 36, 0, 5, 8s are 40. So 8 is the answer. So A option is correct. Next question is, how many diagonals does a hexagon have? So if you draw a hexagon, you can check there are 9 diagonals. This question is from NCERT only. So like this you will draw a hexagon. There is a formula also for number of diagonals that you can use that also. So you can name like this: A, B, C, D, E, F. So you can see starting from A, diagonals are AC, AD, AE, 3 diagonals using A. Then using B we have 1, 2, 3, total 6 we have seen till now. Then using, suppose I take this color, C, we have 7, 8, and the last, let's take this point D, 9. So you can see now all vertices are covered. We have total 9 diagonals in this case. So the correct answer is option number A. Next question, very simple. We have equation to be solved. So 2x minus 3 upon 4x plus 5 is equal to 1 upon 3. So we can solve it by cross multiplication. What will happen? This 3 will go in the numerator and this complete denominator will go in numerator, and they will get multiplied because here they are in division. So we have 3 multiplied with 2x minus 3 is equal to 1 multiplied with 4x plus 5. Now we all know we can use distributive property. So by that property we have to multiply this, then minus sign and this. So 3 2s are 6x minus sign 3 3s are 9 is equal to 4x plus 5. Now bring together like terms. This 4x will come on this side. 6x minus 4x is 2x. Minus 9 will go to that side, become positive. 9 plus 5 is 14. So x is equal to 14 upon 2. Answer is 7. So 7 is the correct answer. Next question, again a question from chapter number 3, quadrilaterals. Very simple. We have to find x. You can observe first of all this angle is 90 degree. So by linear pair angle 1 is also 90 degree. So we have angle, suppose you can name these angles as 1. So already given, this is 1. So take it 2, take this 3, take this 4. So 1, 2, oh sorry, this is left. This is already named as x. So let's take x only. We can say angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4 plus angle x is equal to how much? 360 degree. Again by the property of polygons we can say the sum of exterior angles is always 360. Now put the values one by one. We know angle 1 is 90 degree. We have found by linear pair property. Angle 2 is how much? 40. Angle 3 is how much? Angle 3 is 60 degree. Angle 4 is 90 degree. And x is unknown. So we have to find this x only. If you add all these, what will happen? 90, 90 is 180. 180 plus 100 is 280. So 280 will go to that side. It will be 360 minus 280. And when you subtract, you will get 0 minus 0. 16 minus 8 is 8. X equal to 80 degree. The correct answer is second option. Now, question number 20. The sum of 3 consecutive multiples of 7. First of all, what are 3 consecutive multiples of 7? Consecutive means in continuation. You can say 7 1s are 7. 7 2s are 14, 7 3s are 21. They are in continuation, so they are consecutive multiples of 7. But in this case, we don't know which consecutive they are talking about. Maybe they are talking about 7 8s are 56, 7 7s are 7 is 56, 7 9s are 63, and 7 10s are 70. These three also are consecutive. These three are consecutive. So how to decide? So we will go for variable thing. We will assume the first multiple as x, obviously second one will be x plus 7 and third one will be x plus 7 plus 7, that is 14. How I found this? Let's see. If this is first multiple, if you add plus 7 you get second multiple, if you add plus 7 you get third multiple. That is why if first multiple is x, if I add 7 I get second multiple, if I add one more 7 I get third multiple. Now question says sum of 3 consecutive multiples, that is this sum is equal to 3, 5, 7. Now if you see like terms are x, so x can be added, x plus x is 3x, 7 plus 14 is 21 is equal to 3, 5, 7. Now take this 21 to the right hand side, it becomes 3, 5, 7 minus 21 and you subtract 7 minus 1 is 6, 5 minus 2 is 3, 3 is there, x is equal to 3, 3, 6 upon 3 and if you solve you get 112 as the answer. So that is A is the correct answer because it is the smallest multiple. If they were asking the highest, you could have added 14 in this and you have got the highest multiple also. Now question number 21, we have 15 years from now Ravi's age will be 4 times his present age. What is Ravi's present age? Whatever is asked in the question, I have told you to assume that thing as x. So it is asking present age, so let Ravi's present age be how much? X years. Now this is the assumption part. What about the equation part? For that we will use first statement. It is saying 15 years from now. So we all know 15 years from now means age after 15 years. Obviously we will add 15 in the present age. So this is the age after 15 years. So what is the relation? It is saying 15 years from now Ravi's age will be 4 times his present age. So you can say the age after 15 years is same as present age into 4. That's they are saying. So this is the equation. Again see, it is saying 15 years from now will be 4 times present age. So these two are equal things. Now solve it. So x will go that side, it becomes 4x minus x, that is 3x, x equal to 5 years. So correct answer is 5. Now in this question, the digit in the tens place of a 2-digit number is 3 more than digit in the unit place. First of all, we all know in a 2-digit number, suppose AB, this ones place, this is tens place and the number is actually 10A plus B. In the similar way we will solve this question. So let's see what is the relation given to us. They are saying there is a 2-digit number. Okay, so let's take these brackets for the 2 digits and then they are saying in the next statement they are saying let the digit at unit place be B. So we have to take the digit at unit place as B first of all given to us. Then they are saying the digit in tens place is 3 more than the digit at unit place. So if digit at unit place is B, we have to add 3 in it. So 3 plus B is the digit at tens place. Again you can read the question. The digit in the tens place, the digit in the tens place of a 2-digit number is 3 more than digit in the unit place. So if in the unit place we have B, we have tens place 3 plus B. Simple. Now what is the number? Simple. We will just multiply 10 in the tens place, that is 10 into 3 plus B plus B. Now solve it. 10 3 is a 30 plus 10B plus B. So answer is 30 plus 11B, which is your first answer, 11B plus 30. So done. Question number 23 now see. In 23 we have 3t plus 5 upon 4 minus 1 is equal to 4t minus 3 upon 5. Right now we can't do the cross multiplication. This 4 can't go in the numerator and multiplication right now. Why? Because we have this number over here. Before taking LCM, we can't take this 4 to that side. So first we will take LCM. So let's take the LCM. 4 will come in the denominator, this will remain as it is, we have negative sign. So we can see here 1 was there, so 1 4s are 4, 4 minus 1s are minus 4 is equal to 4t minus 3 upon 5. So let's solve it. It becomes 3t plus 1 upon 4 is equal to 4t minus 3 upon 5. Now we can do cross multiplication easily. So 5 into 3t plus 1 and 4 into 4t minus 3. Now 5 3s are 15t plus 5 is equal to, sorry, 4 4s are 16t minus 12. Now bring together like terms. So this 12 will come to this side, it becomes 5 plus 12. 15t will go to that side, it becomes 16t minus 15t. So 5 plus 12 is 17 is equal to t. So correct answer is plus 17. Now question number 24. The difference between two whole numbers is 66. First statement. Second statement is the ratio of the two numbers is 2:5. So it depends on us which statement we will take for assumption part. I will take second statement for assumption part. You can take first also, no issue. In the second statement they are saying the ratio is 2:5. That will help me in taking the numbers assumption. So let small number be 2x, therefore larger or bigger one will be how much? 5x. Now what is saying in the first statement? Difference between two whole number is 66. So larger number, that is 5x, minus smaller number is equal to 66. This is the equation. Solve it to get the answer. Simple. X is equal to 66 upon 3, that is 22. So x we have got as 22. Now this is not the answer. Correct answer is, we have to find smaller number. Smaller number is 2x, not x. So therefore smaller number will be given by 2 into x, that is 22. So answer is 44. This is the correct answer. Hope you understood all the concepts. Thank you.